host, Charles Smith, and with me today is a special guest. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello there, chaps. My name is William Jones. Glad to be with you all.
Now, William, I understand that you're here today to talk about the situation with NATO and the Warsaw Pact.
Indeed, I am.
Let's start with the basics. What is NATO?
The North Atlantic Treaty Organization, or NATO, is a military alliance between Britain, the United States of America, Canada, and other Western European powers.
A military alliance? What for? Are we under threat from other nations?
We will always be under threat from dangerous communist nations such as the Soviet Union and the other members of the Warsaw Pact.
The Warsaw Pact. Can you explain what that is for the listeners at home?
Sure. The Warsaw Pact is a military alliance between the Soviet Union, Bulgaria, Poland, Czechoslovakia, East Germany, and other small communist countries.
Another military alliance? Is there another war coming?
It is very possible that the Soviet Union and its allies will invade neighboring countries in an attempt to gain more power.
What will happen in the event that the Warsaw Pact begins invading other countries?
NATO is prepared to engage in conventional warfare with the Warsaw Pact. If things escalate, tactical warfare such as bombings and long-range artillery strikes will be utilized. Finally, if things escalate out of control, NATO is willing to engage in a nuclear war.
Nuclear war? How do you think the Warsaw Pact would react?
I think the Warsaw Pact would react by launching all their nuclear warheads.
How many nuclear warheads do you think the Warsaw Pact has?
I cannot say for certain.
So, if the Warsaw Pact were to preemptively launch a nuclear strike on our American allies, how will they see it coming?
The Americans have put together a joint effort with the Canadians to create an early warning system known as DEW, aka Distant Early Warning.
Who runs this system?
NORAD, or the North American Aerospace Space Command. It is in charge of coordinated continental air defense.
What countries are in NORAD?
Canada and the US have put equal amounts of resources into the effort and are the only countries involved.
We have heard much about what would happen if we went to war, but what has been done to avoid another war?
Well, the UN, or United Nations, is working hard to negotiate peacefully with the Soviets and the Warsaw allies.
What has the UN accomplished so far?
The UN has already established several large-scale organizations, such as the World Health Organization and the United Nations Children's Fund, or UNICEF. In addition, the UN has established International Monetary Fund to stabilize the world economy by helping poor countries.
Surely such a great power has a military presence, correct?
The UN has no standing armies of its own, but it can call on its members to support a country in times of war.
Wasn't there a military conflict a couple years back?
Yes, I believe you are referring to the Korean conflict. The UN helped resolve that situation peacefully, but the use of armed troops was required.
Any other examples?
The Suez Crisis was a more recent conflict in which the UN used military presence to bring an escalating situation to a peaceful end.
It seems like the UN has a lot of potential to heavily affect our world. Unfortunately, that is all the time we have for today. Thank you for listening, and a special thanks to William for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Good night, everyone. This is BBC News, 6 o'clock.